Ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking about the lightning fast DeFi powerhouse that is the Fantom Network. I'll be sharing with you what you need to know about Fantom and why it has become such a hot spot for decentralized finance. Now, if you like crypto and you like learning about how things work, make sure to get subscribed and click the bell so you get a heads up for all my new weekly crypto videos. Now, right up front here, for transparency, I want to let you know that this video is sponsored by SpookySwap, one of the premier decentralized exchanges on Fantom. The focus of this video is educational and informational in nature to help you understand the Fantom ecosystem and the powerful DeFi primitives like SpookySwap, but it is not a call to action to buy tokens. This channel is not about buying tokens, shilling tokens, getting rich 100x, 200x. It's about building the knowledge you need to make good decisions in crypto. So that said, if you've been in crypto for a while now, or you're just getting started for the first time, you will likely have come across the idea, at least in passing, of the classic blockchain trilemma. The blockchain trilemma, as it's referred to, is basically referring to the idea that an ideal platform to build decentralized applications must balance three often competing priorities: decentralization, security, and scalability. And theoretically, only two are able to be achieved at once. Only two of those three, so you always got to give something up. Every project in this space at one point or another has to make calculated decisions about which of these elements to prioritize, and the trade-offs that are made determine the design patterns employed to build the network. And over the years, plenty of projects have built blockchain networks that seek to strike the perfect balance between the trilemma of characteristics. The subject of today's video, Fantom, has built a technology stack that has become home to extremely powerful DeFi applications that rely on fast finality of transactions, high transaction throughput, and developer friendliness. So Fantom at its core is built to be a high-performance decentralized network with smart contract capabilities, achieving high transaction throughput at low cost without sacrificing security and decentralization. The last two sentences of this video, though, have probably brought to the surface many questions. What is Fantom? How does it achieve this high transaction throughput with low fees? Why is it such a hotspot for DeFi? These are all great questions that I am about to answer right now. To really understand Fantom, we have to peel back the layers a little bit and see what really makes it a powerful layer one network with high transaction throughput. At a high level, the major components of the Fantom mainnet, dubbed Opera, are the base layer consensus-based DAG or directed acyclic graph, that's the transactional layer, the Lachesis consensus mechanism, and the all-important smart contract execution environment. And if we start at the base layer, the underlying data structure of the network is a directed acyclic graph, often called a DAG for short. And you're likely wondering what in the world a DAG is. And I could make an entire video, a series of videos just about DAGs and the relationship they have to blockchains as we know them. What you need to know here in the context of this video is one, a directed acyclic graph is a data structure that is quite frankly a component part of a blockchain as a data structure. The two are more related than one would think. And two, a directed acyclic graph structure acts as the base transactional layer of Fantom, and it was a design choice by the team that centered around high transaction throughput with predictably low fees. Mechanically, a DAG can be thought of like a branching tree, where the many branches and leaves are connected to one another in an interconnected structure. And because of this structural focus on transactions branching off of one another, rather than being serialized into a rigid, single-ordered chain like a traditional blockchain does, DAGs can offer significant gains in transaction throughput performance at the potential cost of decentralization, if you think about it theoretically. Fantom built a consensus mechanism that focused on making that DAG structure operable in a decentralized fashion, so solving for that problem, where each application built on Fantom effectively has its own blockchain-like network orchestrated into a single cohesive system. The Lachesis consensus mechanism, as it's called, is arguably the most compelling technological component of Fantom and in terms of what it brings to the table. Lachesis orchestrates these many concurrent network constructs for the many applications on Fantom using a consensus methodology referred to as asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerance, or ABFT, which sounds intimidating, but what you need to know is that it is tailor-made for solving the aforementioned blockchain trilemma. Asynchronous refers to the fact that each node in the network does not need to wait for others to reach consensus. In other words, Each node can independently reach consensus, sharing events and transactions with peers rather than a block to be voted on. This means that the consensus process is not slowed by the traditional mechanism of the entire network kind of stopping to agree on a concrete state of data. It's also not limited to a relatively small number of nodes that traditionally Byzantine fault-tolerant consensus-driven networks are. This ends up resulting in a leaderless, adequately decentralized process for validating transactions at large scale and low cost. And this was super simplified to be mindful of time and depth and to make it accessible for everyone, but let me know in the comments if you want a deeper dive on Lachesis. The last point I want to make is that before diving into the DeFi world, it's important to note that Fantom is completely accessible for dApps on Ethereum because its execution environment is derivative of the Ethereum virtual machine, or EVM, which drives smart contracts on Ethereum. This means that developers can easily port their applications over to Fantom, and all the standard tools that developers use will apply to their work on Fantom dApps written in Solidity, for example. This fact, paired with the high throughput, low fees, and fast finality of transactions on Fantom, is why decentralized finance is thriving on Fantom Opera and driving huge growth in that ecosystem. To double down on this growth, the Fantom Foundation recently provided 370 million Fantom, I think it's worth around 750 million US at the time of recording, as an incentive program for new and current developers on Fantom Opera to build with. This huge development incentive has brought major developers like Geist Finance, Aave, Yearn, and more to develop on the Fantom network. In particular, many DeFi and GameFi protocols have been drawn to Fantom for the technical capabilities that it has and those incentives in the fund. And as I film this video, the Fantom Developer Conference, Fantom DC, just took place in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and tons of awesome developer announcements and news which were shared at that conference event related to what's being built in the Fantom ecosystem. That said, I want to pivot to talk a little bit more about DeFi on Fantom, as I promised in the introduction. Like I mentioned in the beginning, today's video was made in partnership with the premier DEX platform on Fantom, which is SpookySwap. That said, I'd like to share more about SpookySwap and its adoption of the lightning-fast Fantom Opera network. For those who may not be 100% familiar with the terminology here, a DEX is something that stands for a decentralized exchange, and it's effectively a platform on which users can trade cryptocurrencies without relying on a custodial, centralized cryptocurrency exchange. Smart contracts act as market makers to match swaps of tokens on the platform, and this application pattern is often referred to as an automated market maker, or AMM. These AMM/DEX platforms, on them, token swaps are facilitated by establishing balanced liquidity pools of cryptocurrencies contributed by users like you and me. In effect, these users who contribute equal value of two cryptocurrencies to liquidity pools and a pair are providing the trading liquidity for swaps between those assets. When users trade assets across these pairs, they pay fees, which are distributed to the liquidity providers as a reward. So it's pretty clear then that the lifeblood of any decentralized exchange is categorically liquidity, which fills the liquidity pools and enables trading of the assets on the platform. And the SpookySwap DEX is focused on providing an intuitive user interface and plenty of mechanisms for users to earn on the platform to bring in that liquidity. SpookySwap has welcomed plenty of precious liquidity by way of its bridge to other blockchains, letting users from Ethereum, for example, bring their value over to Fantom Opera and contribute to Fantom DeFi. From SpookySwap's UI, users can easily transfer assets from Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Avalanche, Polygon, and Arbitrum via the AnySwap bridge, making it super easy for users to move between networks at will. On the SpookySwap platform, users who want to use the DEX to trade can expect extremely low fees to the tune of 0.2% per swap, and when users pay that 0.2% fee, 0.17% goes to the liquidity providers, and 0.03% goes to XBOO, the staking token in the SpookySwap platform. And speaking of XBOO, SpookySwap offers staking functionality, which lets you stake the native BOO token in exchange for XBOO, which entitles you to rewards proportional to your XBOO holdings in the total pool of staked assets. In addition to this, 2.5% of royalties earned from trading the SpookySwap NFT series Magic Cats also has gone towards XBOO rewards, adding sort of positive impact to the XBOO rewards and returns shortly after those NFTs were minted. And with those Magic Cats NFTs, DEX utility is coming soon as well, which should further boost XBOO rewards beyond that. So as you hold XBOO in exchange for your staked BOO, and I know it's getting confusing, that XBOO entitles you to withdraw a growing allocation of BOO in return, driven by the overall platform volume on SpookySwap. So users who hold XBOO can double down on their yield earning as well by contributing XBOO to lending or yield farming mechanisms on other DeFi platforms within the Fantom Opera network, which is a great example of the composability that makes DeFi so amazing. Each platform has the opportunity to be a building block for another by collaborating with one another. Having been a user of SpookySwap for a while now personally, I can attest that even if you put aside the yield earning opportunities as a liquidity provider, as a staker of BOO, etc., the DEX itself is buttery smooth. The UI is well constructed, it's easy to find everything you need, and it offers features like limit orders that aren't always found on DEXs, even though they should be. It's a great experience to use. And of course, it doesn't hurt that the scalability of Fantom Opera makes it feel like I'm using a centralized exchange in terms of the performance. So this quality user experience has clearly been recognized by others as well, because SpookySwap won 2 commendations at the Fantom Developer Conference for Best DEX and Best UI, which is well deserved in my book. And TradingView, the data platform for traders, professional traders, have added SpookySwap as a data source to their platform with other notable DEXs across the crypto ecosystem. So needless to say, when the opportunity arose to partner up with SpookySwap to make content that's educational in nature about Fantom Opera and their DEX, I was pretty stoked about that. So DEXs like SpookySwap thrive on Fantom Opera's fast and cost-effective network, and it promotes more active trading and opportunities for users who just can't afford to pay exorbitant fees on other networks. If anything, platforms like SpookySwap give more people the ability to participate in the game-changing new paradigm that is DeFi. There is no doubt in my mind that SpookySwap and many of the other platforms on Fantom Opera are just getting started on their journey to make DeFi accessible and lucrative for a wide audience. Now, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to dive deeper into Fantom or SpookySwap, I will leave links in the description and pinned comment on this YouTube video. And of course, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to spend time on my channel. And if you have time to stick around, please do check out these 2 videos here linked up on the screen. And most of all, I want to wish you and your family a wonderful week ahead. And until next time, cheers.